Hey everyone, thanks for being here. This is Goose Auto Works, and this is what we're doing today. So as you just saw, I have a leaky roof, or well, specifically a leaky rear window. So it's actually a fairly common issue on these trucks. For me, the leak is somewhere right in here, and then the water's coming and dripping down behind the driver's seat. To fix this, you only have to take out the rear window. I'm going to be taking out the rear window and the beauty ring though, because I'm also going to be skinning my roof in carbon fiber because it's seen better days. So subscribe if you want to see that. But that will just give me a little extra room to work with the carbon fiber, with the resin and everything. So you'll get the benefit of seeing both things taken out. But again, usually you only have to take out the rear glass, but I'll go ahead and show you how it's done. You'll want to start by taking off the seat belt on each side. That's going to allow you to pop these corner panels loose. So pop this loose, and then it's a 15mm nut underneath. With the seat belt out, you can go ahead and take care of these two tabs. What you'll need to do is actually push them in the center. So I've got that one, then do this one, and then now you can use a trim removal tool to get behind there and pop them out. For this corner piece here, I actually just started pulling from the top, and you can get it loose. So there's a little clip right here, there's one about halfway down, and then one right there toward the bottom. And then as long as you pull it straight toward the center of the cab, you should be all right. Don't try to pull it forward. You could break the clips or some of these little locating pins here. It's worth noting that these clips right here clip into these tabs that are on the back side of this panel. So just because you free them up from the front side, if it's giving you any resistance, make sure that you're pulling from the back side there. You don't want to snap these off. Once you have the corner trim pieces out, you can move on to this lower middle piece. There are 3 buttons, 1, 2, and 3. And after you pull that out, you'll have access to the lower bolts holding the glass in. With that bottom trim piece out of the way, next you'll move to the coat hangers up here, and then also the dome light. There are some nuts and bolts behind the headliner here that you'll need to remove these to get to. Once you get the dome light cover off, there's going to be 3 screws holding the dome light in. I went ahead and disconnected my battery, which is something I probably should have done to begin with. Liner's loose, and so I have access to the bolts that are in the back. I can't really show you because of where they're located, but if you just look at these bolts here on the bottom, these 4, if you just go directly up from where that bolt is, there's going to be another bolt right behind the headliner. And I've heard these are supposed to be 11/32. I have an 11/32 socket and it doesn't quite fit. A 9mm is fitting perfect, so that's what I'm going to use. So just double check before you get too far into it. So I was actually able to kind of get in there a little bit with the camera. If you can see right there is going to be one of the beauty ring bolts, and then right there in that opening is another one. So basically, if you can kind of pull it down far enough to feel, and those openings will be for the beauty ring. And then, like I said, for the actual window glass, here's one. There's another one down there that you can see. Sorry about the focus. It's a little hard to do without octopus arms. With the paneling out of the way, here's going to be a better look at what you're up against as far as the bolts going along on the bottom and then on the sides as well for both the trim piece and the glass. And then here's those same sets of bolts going along the top side. So these will all be hidden by the headliner until you can get it out of the way. On each side, there are going to be these 2 bolts that are in these little recessed cavities. And I don't know that this drops down all the way, but I wasn't going to take the chance to find out. So I just put a magnet on there to help unscrew it. That way I don't have the risk of dropping it and never getting it back again. Finally, there are going to be these little white retaining clips holding the trim piece in. Just give them a squeeze with some needle nose pliers and you can push it out. When it comes to removing the glass itself, start by taking off the high mount brake light. What that's going to let you do is be able to access the glass from the backside. And when you do that, you can slowly just work your way around the outside, slowly pulling away from the cab. And unfortunately, as you'll see in this next clip, I neglected to get the glass removal on camera somehow. So I'm really sorry about that. But like I said, if you just kind of work your way around and go slow, try not to pull too hard from one side or the other and risk breaking the glass. But it's really not that difficult to pull it out. And then for the plastic trim piece, you'll do the same thing. Just work your way around. Don't pull too hard from one side or the other. There are plastic tabs on the back side of this that will be pretty easy to break off. Okay, so windows out, beauty rings off. I have several studs that are broken, just kind of all the way around. And some of that may be self-inflicted, some of that I think was simply that way to begin with, because they're supposed to be, if you see 1, 2, 3, 3 studs on this side, and all of them are broken off. And this is where I have all that, just this crap and this silicone just gobbed all up in here. And the reason why is because this was pulling away from the cab, and I thought that this is where my leak was. And it kind of sort of was, you know, this was falling down behind the passenger seat, but I'm guessing these just over time got brittle and broke loose, and that probably only helped make it worse. But I'll show you all the crap that was holding this onto the cab. So look at all of this mess. Just tons and tons of silicone. Now I did do this. I did this several years ago. Because like I said, I thought that beauty ring pulling away was what the issue was, and again, maybe it kind of sort of was, but this is what was making the job so difficult of pulling it off. So if you haven't piped it full of silicone like I have, you should have a better job of getting it pulled off of there. But I'm gonna get all this cleaned up. I'll put some new sealant on the window, and as far as the beauty ring, all of the studs are still here. So either I found them when they fell, or they were stuck in the cab and I pulled them loose. And there's actually one that's stuck in the silicone right now. But there's just a few that are broken all the way around. And so what I'll do is I'll probably have to recreate some of these fastening points, you know, mirror it over. But I'll probably just plastic weld some of this up and just make the points back again. I think between plastic welding and epoxy, I should be able to get it back together the way it needs to be. This does have a guard around the edge, but the beauty ring really isn't meant to do a whole lot of sealing in and of itself. It's a trim piece. So like I said, the window was really the main culprit for this. So I'll get everything cleaned up. I'll get that resealed. Really only took this off because, like I said, I need access to the whole roof for the carbon fiber. And with this stuff damaged, obviously it needs to be pulled off and repaired. But let's go ahead and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so I was able to plastic weld these back on, at least good enough to where they're not going to move and they line up where they need to go back into the truck. So that's all good. And I actually retinted the rear window because it was bubbling up. It's kind of one of those while you're in there type of things. But anyway, if you look around the outside of the beauty ring, there's going to be a channel, and that's where you're going to put the new sealant. In some places there's not a channel, but that's fine. Just go on the outside of the bolts and you will be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then the only thing left to do is to put it back in the truck. Installation is the reverse of the removal, and then we'll leak test it and be done. Hey everyone, so I've gotten everything buttoned back up and moved this outside because now is the moment of truth. Now we leak test this thing and make sure that what we did worked. So remember, if you're pulling out both the trim piece and the glass, the trim piece needs to go back in first. And this is the carbon fiber roof, by the way. So this video will be coming out pretty soon. So subscribe if you want to see how I did this and how it all turned out. There's still a little bit of buffing and things I need to do to it, but let's go ahead and let's get this really wet and make sure nothing comes in on the inside. And it worked. I mean, of course it worked. I knew it would work. But anyway, guys, if you have this same issue, try this first. Give it a day, maybe a weekend, and hopefully this video helps you out. It really wasn't all that bad, but at least for me, now I know that I won't have water hitting me in the back of the neck when I brake or anything. I won't have mold or mildew or a sagging headliner or anything like that. So again, hopefully this video helps you. Even if not, hopefully it was entertaining enough to watch. So for now, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.